Hi, I'm Jake Grez, also known as Nurse Jake. As a travel nurse, I've worked in all kinds of places, different settings, cities, and climates. Every assignment brings on a new challenge, which is why I always bring my figs. These scrubs are built for whatever the job throws at you. They're breathable, flexible, and comfortable in any environment. No matter where I land, I know they're going to keep me looking and feeling my best. And don't sleep on the details. The pockets, the features, the finishing touches, everything has a purpose, and it makes a real difference when you're moving nonstop. The fit is clean, tailored, and super polished, and they come in a huge range of colors. In other words, they feel great throughout a 12-hour shift, and they always look good. See every healthcare professional on Instagram. If you work in healthcare or know someone who does, check out Figs and get 15% off your first order at wearfigs.com with code FIGSRX. That's wearfigs.com, code FIGSRX.
Hey there, and welcome to the Think Fitness Life podcast. We're fueled by the incredible clients who inspire us every day, allowing us to elevate their health and fitness journeys. On this show, you'll gain valuable insights from top professionals, hear inspiring transformation stories, and discover the knowledge and motivation to create your own best life. Let's dive in. As someone who has continuously used therapy as a way to heal and elevate my personal performance, I know wholeheartedly that you cannot always read the label when you're in the jar. And that's why it's so helpful to have a professional in your corner to talk to. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp to provide our listeners with the opportunity to work with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home. Receive 10% off your first month when you sign up by going to betterhelp.com/TFL. That's betterhelp.com/T as in think, F as in fitness, L as in life. And remember, you're not alone. There are people out there who can help.
All right. Welcome back to the Think Fitness Life podcast. In our journey of health and wellness, there's always things that we can enhance our overall cellular function for, whether it's diet, nutrition, exercise, biohacking. And one of the big biohack things is getting really popular now is the quality of home living. And with that comes the quality of water. And I've dabbled in some of the stuff of structured water. I've heard some things, read some things, but now really getting onto the world is more of this hydrogen water. And I'm not really an expert in it. I had someone actually reach out that is more of an expert in hydrogen water. And we're gonna bring her on the show today. She's a scientist. She researched this. And we're going to welcome on Candace. And how do you say your last name?
Wofford.
Candace Wofford on it. And we're going to dive into hydrogen water. Now, for those people who have never heard about this, buckle up because you're going to learn a lot. And it's starting to become more widespread on how it can enhance athletic performance, overall human performance. And that is huge because we'll be honest, the water in some places in the U.S., is not the best. And you go outside the world, it's not the best either. And you have all these companies saying, oh, we have alkaline water, but they'll put it in plastic bottles. We have good quality water. But to me, that doesn't really make sense if they're putting in plastics. Candace, welcome on.
Hey, thank you for having me. Happy to be here. And I love everything you just said. What a wonderful intro. Since you mentioned it, I do want to share with you a fact that I just learned about plastic water bottles.
Absolutely.
If that's okay. So my background is in endocrinology, and I studied hormones and receptors and the effect of bisphenol A, which is found in plastics, on how it disrupts the hormones and the pathways. I just learned that bottled water, and I studied this, but I just now learned this. I just learned that bottled water, from the time it gets packaged and tapped to the time it gets to your grocery store, it sits on a pallet for 5 years.
That long. Holy smokes.
That long. Your bottled water is sitting in the sun. That sun is just helping to break down those microplastics. And it's been sitting in that bottle for 5 years. And then you go and chug it. And if you're only drinking bottled water, you're ingesting about a credit card's worth of microplastics every week.
Wow. I wasn't expecting you to say 5 years. I thought you were going to say maybe more 5 months. But 5 years, that is insane. And I'm sure you've done the same. Years ago, I've cut plastic water bottles and drinking out of plastic
Yeah.
shaker bottles. We go to conferences and people always give these plastic. I don't want them. I'm going to throw them out. I'm never going to use it. Or they become a pen holder.
Yes, exactly. Totally. I mean, there are some, you go to a sporting event and it's the
Yeah.
playoffs and you want to get a memorabilia capture, but then yes, it becomes your pin holder.
It's
agree.
hard because plastic is everywhere, but there's some things, and there's some things we can do, and I have to do just to kind of control my environment around me, and eliminating plastic's one of them, and then having that good quality water that doesn't come out of plastic bottles is another one. For me, all the water in my house that's drinkable is filtered some way.
I love that. Yes, filtered water is definitely going to be your better option because everything that comes into your body, well, your body's made of 70% water. You might as well be giving it the good stuff, right? What I definitely use water filters, and I've also switched just in the past year to using a water ionizer. And the reason that's important is because my water ionizer makes molecular hydrogen water.
Now let's talk about that because hydrogen
Yeah.
is a badass molecule. This thing packs a punch at every cellular level. You probably studied it a little bit different than I did from a exercise physiology standpoint, but hydrogen does wonders. Talk to us, explain what molecular hydrogen water is, first of all.
Okay. Yes. Super good question. Let's start it off with the science. Of course, we know that water is H2O. And a lot of times when you talk to someone about water, they're, H2, it's already there. H2 is those two hydrogen atoms already spoken for. Picture Mickey Mouse, right? The head of Mickey Mouse is your oxygen and the two ears are your hydrogens. Those are nowhere near each other. They're not touching each other. They're already bound to the oxygen. That's your H2O. Now, molecular hydrogen water is when you have two atoms of hydrogen that have bound together, and now you've created H2. And this H2 molecule is the molecular hydrogen, and you can have H2 gas infused into your H2O water. And then the water is just the vehicle to get the molecular hydrogen everywhere in your body.
It's a big difference, the two hydrogen versus the H2. What in the body, what does the H2 do differently?
Okay. It's just really exciting because 15 years ago, there were a handful of papers about it, right? Now there's over 3,000 papers. There's over 1,500 studies. And of course, you start with the mechanisms and then you move on to animal studies. And then you can finally move on to clinical studies, which involves humans. The point is, we now know the mechanisms of the H2 and why it is a selective antioxidant. Everyone will tell you it's the most antioxidant thing on the planet. And that's true. And it's selective in that, in your body, when it goes through stress and oxidative stress, it's going to start creating these hydroxyl radicals. And stop me if I'm getting too techie, but in your body, you don't want free radicals all over the place. The H2 combine to the hydroxyls and take care of it. It turns it into water and you're good. It's not going to harm you. The good free radicals would be those that actually are part of a feedback loop that get your body to realize, oh, you know what? I probably need to up my game on making my ATP. Oh, you know what? I probably need to up my game on fixing this section because we're exerting a lot of energy using our biceps today or what have you. It won't mess with that. It won't mess with those radicals because it knows it's there to perform a function. But the ones that it's going to destroy, end up messing with your DNA or what have you, it gets rid of that. It's a selective antioxidant. It's the only selective antioxidant that I'm aware of. The other ones, people say, oh yeah, vitamin C, it's a great antioxidant. Yes, it is. And it wipes out everything. It would even wipe out those good free radicals in your body that are trying to maintain your homeostasis. The hydrogen, the H2 gas, the molecular hydrogen water is the one that can realize, oh, that cell's doing what it needs to do. We're going to be okay.
We'll probably take a deep dive here. What is the affinity for the H2 to let's call it the good or the bad versus the good? Because I'm sure at a molecular, we're going to take a deep dive. But I'm very curious, how come when H2 is, oh, well, that's a good hydrogen electron, right? This is a bad one. How is it going? What's the affinity?
I would say that it is technically possible for it to bind to everything, as in thermodynamically possible, but it's not kinetically going to happen. It does three different things, the mechanism of hydrogen on how it works. It can, one, directly neutralize those hydroxyl radicals, and those are the bad ones, those are the ones we don't need, nothing has ever been shown to be good from the hydroxyl radicals,
Right.
That's how I'll put it. The other thing that it can do is upregulate your NRF2 pathway, and that is your body's defense system. The NRF2 pathway is the part of your body that says, you know what, we're going to need a little bit more proteins over here. Let's up this. We're going to need some more enzymes to break this down. Let's up this. It will do that selectively, meaning it will do that in a cell that is unhealthy. And remember, the molecular hydrogen is small, that it can cross the cell membrane. Then once you get into the cell, your body's made of trillions of cells, then it can get into the mitochondrial membrane. And that's how it's able to work well, because other things are way too big. They need a transport protein, or they're lipophilic and they're not just going to go through the cell membrane. That's the second way. And then the third way is that it can modulate the free radical production at the source, meaning it's a redox adaptogen, not just an antioxidant. It knows when your body needs the stressors and knows when it doesn't. And the paper that just came out actually in 2026 explains how it works at the mitochondrial level for the mitochondrial biogenesis, which, as an athlete, and most of your listeners are aware, all your energy is from ATP. And all that energy is coming from if you remember freshman year biology, the mighty mitochondria. It goes to the mitochondria. And this is going to get a little bit, but do you remember talking about the electron transport chain?
Oh yeah. Let's go into it. Let's talk ATP synthase. Let's talk about all of it.
It's just this amazing powerhouse of the cell. We know that it takes in the oxygen that you breathe, and it takes in the glucose that you eat, and it uses an electron transport chain system to convert it into water and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide you breathe out, it's a waste product. The water you can end up breathing out as water vapor, sweat out, what have you, also a waste product. The purpose of the cellular respiration is to make your ATP. And your ATP, for every one oxygen molecule you breathe in, for every one glucose molecule you have, it'll make you 36 ATP molecules. And 36 ATP, those ATPs are what function every single thing that's going on in your body. Cut to, electrons are getting passed down the electron transport chain, and there are 4 different complexes. And they were able to show that hydrogen acts at the third complex. And the third complex is the risky iron sulfur protein complex. And it's getting all the way in there, and it's helping it function at its full capacity to where, and here's where it's interesting, I believe, for athletes, it does not go into glycolysis as much because it's keeping the mitochondria on top of things. And when you're not going into glycolysis, you're not going into fermentation. And when you're not going into fermentation, you're not having that lactic acid buildup. And when you're not having the lactic acid buildup, you're not getting sore as much. You're able to recover much more quickly and get right back in the gym and work out just as hard.
That's the great part about it, because hydrogen it's cool because it creates ATP. It can help spin that system, but it also, you talked about the lactate, it helps buffer that. The whole point is to buffer these electrons. Hydrogen, that's why when people, I want people to know about this, because hydrogen, I have no idea what this means, but in the body, it does amazing things. If you don't have enough hydrogen, or you can't clear it, the lactate is going to build up and your performance is going to suffer. Then on the flip side, if you're not performing, this H2 is going to run the electron transport chain and just use ATP and make the mitochondria healthy.
To almost mimic, if you never exercise, and I'm not telling people to never exercise, but if you never exercise but still have access to drink molecular hydrogen water, that would help you, because it can mimic what your body's response is on how the mitochondrial biogenesis, pretty much. But yes, it's very exciting.
Now let's say if I'm working out, right, and we're drinking the molecular hydrogen water, would an athlete see, or a person see improvement depending on the workout, Or would it take a couple times to be, oh, I actually maybe feel a difference. I'm getting a different buffering from my lactate, or I'm not hitting a wall over glycolysis. Other supplements, you can kind of, it buffers that and it delays it. Would that be
Absolutely.
something that
Like
this does
if
over
you
time?
have access to molecular hydrogen water and you start drinking it daily, and that's the only thing you are drinking, your energy levels go
Have
through
you been
the
on that
roof.
journey to
Your
look for that
ability to
supplement?
exercise
Nothing too
multiple
extreme.
times, even a day,
The one you're looking
not
for that
just
gets
a
the
week,
job done
goes
and
through
you
the roof.
actually feel it. Well, I have that supplement for you. It's
I
Recommend,
started
Man
my deep
Formula,
dive into
Lady
molecular
Formula, and Clear
hydrogen
Focus.
about a year
Only
ago.
3
I don't
supplements
know
this
where I
company
was
has.
the other years,
And
but it
that's
finally
all
got
you
to
need,
me.
whether
And I
you're
was
going to
holy
stack them.
cannoli,
My favorite's the stacked.
I need to learn more
Man
about this.
Formula
And
plus
we
Clear
ended up
Focus.
purchasing
If you're
or
a
investing in the water
female,
ionizer for our home.
Lady Formula,
It's a
Clear
medical grade
Focus.
device. We have
My
it. It
squats
just comes
have
out the
not
sink,
been
and everyone in
better.
my
My
family, my
lifts have
husband and
not
my 2
gone
kids,
better.
that's all
I
we
feel
drink.
stamina, energy,
My
endurance
husband is a
during the
coach
lift. I feel
and
great
a PE
recovery-wise.
coach
Throughout
as
the
well,
day, I
and
have
he's
energy and
playing
focus.
with
My brain
kids
feels
all
good.
day
My
long,
central nervous system is
all day in
turned
the
on.
sun.
And
And then he
most
comes home
important,
and he plays with our kids.
sexual function.
And then he goes
When
to
I tell
kickboxing
you
at night.
that
And then he
it
comes home and
packs
he
a
still has
punch
energy.
and
And that's
gives
just
you
been since
what
we
you need
started
from a
drinking the
man's
water.
perspective,
You're
it
able to
enhances
do
hormones.
things
It
that
optimizes
you
my
would
mitochondria.
not
And
have
you know
thought
what? It
possible
gives me the
because
drive and
your
libido that I
mitochondria is
can never
functioning the way
complain
it should be
about. Plus
functioning.
all the other performance things, that is this supplement. Recommend supplements putting the cleanest ingredients in their products to be the optimal stop for overall health, performance, hormones, you name it. It's got stuff like Tonkat Ali in there for strength. It's got L-arginine for blood flow performance, stuff you don't even think about. Then the Clear Focus, we're talking nootropics through and through. Brain health, optimizing focus, clarity. Screw those energy drinks. Screw multiple cups of coffee. My morning routine, I have 1 cup of coffee. I put Clear Focus and I take my Man Formula. I stack them together and my day is on. And you can take advantage and get on the same regimen. Check out recommend.com. Use code TFL20 for 20% off and get control. Take advantage of your health today. Right. And then who wouldn't want this? You talk about this device. Let's kind of back it up a year when you got into this molecular hydrogen water. What was it for you? What was your turning point? That was, hey, I need to make this change. And we're going to talk about the process of how we're going to ionize it. That you're, hey, I want to put this system in my house. I want better quality water. I want better water, period, to help my system, your family system, to just be enhanced.
It came because I'm a mom now. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I'm 40 years old. And the life expectancy isn't necessarily that long. And I started reading about people in Japan living to be 100. And I thought, oh my gosh, I could still have 60 more years with my kids. That's amazing. How would I do that? Then I start reading about what are practices of people who take care of their bodies and make sure that they're doing what they need to do to keep all their cells functioning. And then I heard about this water, which is based on the blue zones, which one of them is in Okinawa, Japan, where it has the excess hydrogen. And I'm okay, hang on a minute. I can feel better and I can make sure that I don't lose my cognitive wherewithal, and I can make sure that all my cells are functioning, and I can live to be 100 and still be happy and healthy, and I just have to change my water. I mean, sure, other things you have to change, but if I can start by just changing my water, and then there's just a snowball effect of, oh, well, I feel better. I can go work out more. Oh, well, I just worked out. Why would I eat that junk food? Oh, well, I just did, it's just a compounding effect of making sure that you are living your best life, and it can start with water, and that's what got me to do it.
Especially because we drink water every single day, and if people aren't drinking water, you should be drinking water every single day. And it's the best, literally the best vehicle to get stuff in your system. And if it's just molecular stuff, why not? In Japan, they have this hydrogen water. Is it natural,
they found
or
a way
are they?
to
Did they
get the
find a
H2
way
in
to
there.
get the H2 in there?
They've been researching it for over 50 years. You and I were just talking earlier about papers coming out for 15 years, but for 50 years, this ionizer, they've been perfecting it. And the one I use is a medical grade device. It has 8 titanium plates that basically the water goes through a process called electrolysis, or it gets electrocuted. And when you separate them and reconstitute them back together, you end up with the hydrogen gas. And it's not even about, it does make alkaline water, but it's not even about the alkalinity. I mean, that's, when you hear people talk about alkaline water, you realize, oh, they must care about their water because they're talking about the stuff that everyone's talking about. And yet, if you remove the H2, or because alkalinity is just a measure of pH, and pH, you hear the word H and you think hydrogen, which that's true, but it's the hydrogen ion, not the molecular hydrogen gas. Right. Anyway, when you're able to drink the molecular hydrogen water, it's a game changer. And that's what we wanted for our family. I actually do love being alive and do want to live for a long time. And yes, you're supposed to be drinking water every day, almost your body weight in ounces of water. And a lot of times people just don't do it, or they're grabbing the bottled water and putting whatever else in their bodies.
And the machine process, when it adds the, you said electrolysis, when it adds the hydrogen, what does it taste any different? I mean, that's going to be one big question. People, I know people are going to not freak out, but they'll get very adamant about, I have to have Poland Springs water because it tastes a certain way out of a plastic bottle. And to me, that's crap. But whatever floats your boat, right? What does it taste? Does it taste any different?
I would say it's regular water, and it is much lighter.
Regular water.
I mean, you can chug it, and after you chug water, and you can go this and swish it around, and you feel it swishing in your belly. That does not happen. The hydrogen gas just makes it feel much lighter, and then as we've already mentioned, the H2 gas can go through every single membrane that's crossing that membrane of your stomach. It's getting into your bloodstream. It's going wherever it needs to go and finding those cells that it needs to help, because it is the selective antioxidant. I wouldn't say it tastes different. And some people ask, well, I already have a filter, and I'm great. I'm glad you're filtering your water. That's fabulous. And how about we also ionize it? How about you also get some molecular hydrogen in there?
And for people who are interested, this device, can someone, I don't think they can, but could someone do it at home without a device or makeshift, or is it a specific technology that's been designed?
It's definitely a process.
Go through that whole process and get the H2 into the water.
Patented technology. It has 3 ISO. The one I use has 3 ISO certifications, which means it's gone through a lot of testing to make sure it's legit. One of those makes it a medical grade device. I mean, drink about a gallon of water a day, and I put it in my bag. It's a BPA-free bag. And I can even take that through TSA because it's medical grade water. Here I come walking with my gallons of bags. And now, ma'am, no, it's TSA. And then they pull it over to their machine and they test it. And then, okay, thank you.
Really? They must question you every single time. They might be like,
they don't really anymore, because it's just, they pull it over. They do a fume test to make sure it actually is what I'm saying it is. And then I'd get to go through my airport with my 2-gallon bags and don't have to drink any bottled water my trip, you know?
When you say medical grade water, break that down for the listeners. What does that mean versus just regular water? When you have, hey, I have medical grade water. And when we talk about a medical grade device, what differentiates that from a different device that could do the same? because you work for a company that owns or creates these devices, right?
Yes.
And kind of is mainstreaming this to get into, I assume, people's homes. I know you've connected me with some people that
Yeah.
do it in, it's a
It's
gym.
getting
So they're
real.
getting
It's
people in
coming.
gyms with water. I'm
They
damn,
work for is
okay.
the number
This
one
is,
water
this thing's getting
ionizer
real.
in the world, meaning it has over 80% of the ionizers out there from this company, and it is the only one that they hand make these in Okinawa, Japan. And the significance of medical grade is that these are in hospitals in Japan. Hospitals use them.
Wow.
Also, 80% of homes in Japan have these. And I talked to you about, and for reference, 2% of homes in America have them. We talked about me, Candace, wanting to live to be 100 and how I'm following things that they're doing in Japan. And this is one of them. They live a really long time and they look really good doing it. America starting to come over here. 2% of homes have them. I've seen them in gyms. I've seen them in wellness clinics. You don't know what you don't know. And that's why I'm grateful you brought me on, because I love to educate people about things. I love that this is something that I was blessed enough to learn about. And now if I have a platform to share it with people, then I'm going to do that.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to something that someone's going to drink every
Right.
single day, and they might not understand the aspect of molecular hydrogen water, or they'll be, well, where can I go buy it at CVS? That's probably not what we're going to find today, or you're going to ever find. But it's very interesting that you say that in Japan, the homes really, really have it. And from our perspective of the health and fitness world,
Yes.
they're doing a lot of things good for longevity. That they're kind of ahead of us in the U.S. from living long, like
I
you said
agree.
earlier, and just being healthier. It's interesting that they have these in their homes.
And it doesn't just need to be the people that are in the health and wellness. It doesn't just need to be the biohackers. It doesn't just need to be the athletes. A lot of times they're the first people to do it because they're willing to try it. And I would love to see this in homes everywhere, because everyone deserves to have clean drinking water, and everyone deserves to have water that is taking away from your oxidative stress, right? Your body doesn't need to be in that type of oxidative stress.
Right. Now, when people will ask, it's a filter,
yes
does
and
this
yes.
sit on the
I
countertop?
got the
Does it go
on the top
underneath? Is it
counter
like
model,
something you can just hook to
and
your
it does just hook to
faucet or
my
your refrigerator
faucet.
system?
There is an under counter model if you are just super proud of your kitchen and don't want anything on the counters to mess that up. There is an under sink model. There's also, how do you say, oh my gosh, Candace, what is the word you're looking for?
There.
High volume, one you would want to put in a restaurant or a gym, because a lot of people are going to be out of it, not just a family. They have that model as well. And it's a great company. I'm blessed to work for them. And I'm really, really grateful that, 16 years later, the person that I really look up to is Dr. Tyler LeBaron. He, I would say, is one of the leading experts on molecular hydrogen water. And he's an acquaintance, and he also has one of these machines. But he's also very conservative. He's not going to make claims that aren't true. And he is trying to also spread the word that we can have more clinical studies. It takes a lot to get funding to do studies on humans. That's why you start with the mechanisms, and then you start with the animal studies, right? But the animal studies have shown such great, promising things that now they're researching on humans, and a lot of it is going in the athlete world. A lot of it is going in the cognitive function. They just released a study about people being treated with the molecular hydrogen water post cardiac arrest, and it's mind-blowing the percentage increase of survival rate from being treated with molecular hydrogen water. Good things all around. I won't quote, or I guess I will quote him, but he says there is not one negative effect of molecular hydrogen that he's found. And and some people are, well, can you have too much? Can you have too much? No, because it is a good question. It's a legit question.
Really?
And the answer is no, because within 30 minutes to 60 minutes, you exhale any excess
that'd be my
H2.
question.
It gets in your body. It does what it needs to do. Yeah, if it's already done its role, it gets exhaled.
Interesting. Your body just gets rid of it.
I agree.
That's fascinating. More definitely research is to come.
I don't know. I love sharing the research. Some people just want the product and don't want to talk about it, but I'm grateful that you brought me on here. If I have some other athletic findings, if you want your people to hear about that.
Yeah. Hit us with the research, because the research speaks. That's whatever people hear something, right? They hear it and maybe they're ignorant and they just, I'm not going to read the research and go. I'm always, all right, give me the research study. I want to see it. I want to understand it. Give me all the facts, because that's what really backs up people's decision-making. And what
recovery
do you got on
and
the research
repair,
side?
taking high doses of antioxidants or NSAIDs or cold water immersion, those have all been taking any of that. And yet they can blunt your adaptation by suppressing the free radicals. The molecular hydrogen, as we talked about earlier, is not going to blunt any sort of recovery, any sort of mitochondrial biogenesis. Some of the clinical studies they've done in athletes, most of these have been soccer players and swimmers. And again, the sample size is not huge, but we're already showing things: lower perceived exertion for the same exercise, lower lactate levels at threshold intensities, the abilities to sustain higher intensity exercise for longer, faster recovery between training sessions. Frontiers in Physiology found that 8 days of hydrogen-rich water intake significantly improved muscular endurance in trained athletes, not just, intramurals, let's go play. These are legit trained elite athletes. Hydrogen-rich water significantly reduced oxidative stress markers in athletes, leading to less muscle fatigue and soreness. And athletes drinking hydrogen water recover approximately 15% faster and produce less lactic acid after intense sessions. All good things.
Yeah, if I was an athlete, I'd be, how do I get my hands on this thing? That's a huge performance advantage. Even if you're training now and are going to perform later, why not? Kind of an example is you watch football on Sundays and you sometimes see people put they get the air, right? They're getting just different gas in the system. Well, now similar to that, I'm not saying it's the same. That's an advantage. Now, if you have it in water, but you can now take this in daily. For an athlete, I'd be like, yeah, I want this every single day. And for us knowing the benefits of how hydrogen works in the system, just alone from all that stuff, you don't have to be an athlete. You could just be a regular human being. You're still going to get the benefits, because it's going to turn those mitochondria into absolute machines, and it's going to enhance their capability. Obviously, you have to exercise and do everything right. Not saying water alone is going to do it, but who wouldn't want the benefit of just, I can drink water. I don't have to mix a supplement. I don't have to take a pill or anything.
Yeah.
Great.
Without having to do any of that, this regulates your GLP-1s naturally. It will help, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It will, between you, me, and the Fence Post, and I guess all of your listeners, when I started drinking the water, I lost 20 pounds. I didn't change anything. My GLP-1s increased. My body started to go to homeostasis the way it was supposed to be, because my mitochondria started working the way they were supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the listeners, that is going to be huge, because we're not just talking mitochondria in muscle. We're talking mitochondria in the gut, in all the organs, your brain, all these pathways that obviously, like you said earlier, run off of glucose, that they're going to get changed and the mitochondria become more efficient. The whole system changes, which means you manage glucose better. Your insulin changes.
Because yes, metabolic syndrome, definitely. It can improve your triglycerides and cholesterol ratios. It reduces your inflammatory markers. I would argue almost every disease happening is because of some sort of inflammation. And whether it's inflammation super. There's also cognitive functioning and aging. I had family members that had Alzheimer's. I don't want that. I don't want my brain to become inflamed. I don't want anything. I don't want to forget my kids if I'm living to be 100. So we had markers, and hydrogen-rich water group showed improvements across all these cognitive markers. Learning memory was improved. They gave it to the elderly patients, and no exercise protocol was changed, but the only intervention was hydrogen water, and they could do better short-term recall, better sit to stand ratios. Even their bodies were functioning better. There's gut microbiome research. They're starting to do more about women's health, PCOS and PMDD, and how that could be affected or positively affected, positively regulated. It's just a matter of time, and it's really cool to be on this side of the science, learning about it in real time.
And that's the side that's really going to blow the doors off the whole thing. Trust me, I have the athlete side, and that's, I'm sure you were an athlete at one point, and it's the cool thing, but it's a select population. But when you start talking about women's health and brain health and fixing mitochondria, that's going to change everything, because it's just a whole different realm, and everyone's going through it. And especially the women's health one's going to be interesting, because I'm sure you've read that creatine really enhances, if you take it prior, it can enhance overall woman function and influence kind of fertility because of its effect on the mitochondria. And now I get most people wouldn't be on creatine, but that's awesome. Now you're telling someone, hey, you can start to enhance your health, especially a female, by drinking water. Who wouldn't want to get on this? If it's going to affect the mitochondria, which is going to help every cell in the body function better, there's no doubt that anyone in the world would not be drinking this. And that's the cool thing, as research is going to go, it could start to change a lot of the health outcomes as we go. As we said earlier, some place in the US, the water quality is just crap. It sucks. It's not good. It's not filtered, and it's creating havoc on metabolic.
The things that women go through that happen to a lot of us, and people don't really talk about it. I feel a lot of times our medical system is very reactive. And if you can start to be preventative, it'll help you and your family. And this is one of the ways.
Especially from the women's side of things, because you guys are just different organisms, and it's fascinating because you guys run a little bit of mitochondrial function a little bit different than us, which you have to. But you said people don't want to talk about that stuff. But that's the problem. We need to talk about it and be, oh, well, how did you get through it? And and this is what you felt, et cetera, et cetera. This is what's managing, because then it can help other people. And other people
mental health.
You go to a regular doctor, they're going to go, well, we'll react to it, and we're not going to really talk about it because it's kind of more, people don't want to talk about that stuff because it's something you shouldn't talk about.
Reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. If you are a partner of someone who goes through this and you do not understand what's going on, you could also read it, because that could also help a lot. When I first talked to my doctor, my lady doctor, they didn't know what I was talking about, because it's not, when your brain isn't really functioning and you feel it has to do with you being a woman, you go to your gynecologist, you go to your OB-GYN, and yet they have not been trained in reproductive psychiatry. They don't have the answers. You're not getting the help there. Anyway, don't give up. You matter. We want you on this earth, and just know that there are things that you can go figure out, and you can reach out to anyone, please, because that's important. And if I can help you get the water and that helps your brain as well, I would love to do that for you as well.
And it's something as small as that, where sometimes people, I have to go on medication. I look at big picture. But start looking small. How can you influence your cellular health every single day? And what is one of the best things you can do? Oh, I can drink water. If that's a low hanging fruit. Come on. To help someone start overall health. Yeah. And then we can start supplements and eating, but you start building this resume of your healthy regimen to get someone back to feeling good, to regulating their system. Because in this day and age, it's unfortunate. We do have the luxury of Wi-Fi, roads, all this technology, all this, but it's also, there's chemicals and stuff that are combating our human and making it kind of dysfunctional, aka we get disease. How can we best combat that? And I
agree.
This molecular hydrogen water is it's going to be a game changer, and it's going to really flip kind of probably science on its head a little bit, when the medical companies are not going to you. The pharmaceutical companies are not going to you, but here's my question to people. is it really about making money or is it about health? If you want to influence health, you said, look at Japan's model, what they're doing. They have it in hospitals. I would put money on if you started putting in
I
hospitals in the
agree.
US, you would start to see
I don't know what the
probably
testimonials are out
not
there,
all
and I can
diseases,
share
but
some more with
maybe
you.
feel better
It's
quicker,
happening
get
and it's
discharged
cool.
earlier. You might
Again,
see
like
some
we
stuff
talked
and
about,
get,
I
wait
mean,
a
you do
second.
this podcast to share with people what's happening, and I
Healthcare
love
ready
being
for that?
part
I don't
of
know.
educating, and I'm very grateful that you brought me on here, and I'm able to tell about a lot of the research that these brilliant scientists are doing. Thank you. Really should try this water. My kids have not been sick in a year. You really should try this water. My daughter has not had an asthma attack in a year. I'm telling people all of the things. But I feel people tend to listen to athletes. And if the athletes start talking about it, maybe they would start trying it. The longevity people are already hungry and searching for ways to make their bodies run at tip-top shape for longer. And that's where I feel it could be. But this is also, like I said, something for your own home. You shouldn't have to go somewhere to get it. If you want it in your home, you could also just reach out to me, and I'm happy to share any more of the science with you, or whatever. Your workout regimen, I would say within a few days you feel better. I'm still going, and I'm not as tired, or I'm able to pop up out of bed much easier. And then just having all this energy, I'd say within a couple weeks. If you're able to start drinking it daily, you're just more, how do you say, on top of things. Your brain's functioning the way it should. And so you're able to get things done, live your life, do your exercise, eat good foods, all the things.
I know we're coming up close to an hour. Anything else you want to talk
I'm
about?
just grateful that you are
I
so
think we covered a
cognizant
lot.
of mental health and physical health, and your listeners are very lucky to have you. Thank you for bringing me on.
Matt Gluckman and Eric Menchie here from Think Fitness Life. Our entire careers have been dedicated to fitness, particularly how the mind helps the body. We've been around gyms and nutrition strategies for 25 plus years collectively, and nothing harms or helps better than your own mind, untrained or trained. Pushing beyond your limits, overcoming whatever's thrown your way, and making the decision to show up day in and day out as a lifestyle takes more soul than sand. And what I mean by that is when you can get your mindset and heart leading you consistently in the direction of your goals and dreams, well, it's just a matter of time before you have the performance, physique, or quality of life you're yearning for. See, your thoughts will stem from your beliefs, which will then lead you to action, which develop into your behavior and ultimately lead you to results. It's really that simple. Our process takes time and it takes open communication. It's amazing what pops up along the fitness journey to betterment, and we can be there every step of the way. To learn more or apply for coaching, visit www.thinkfitnesslife.com. Start recreating your life today.